Hey guys, Anders here, welcome back to another video. So as of this video, Season 3 is out and playable, the new content, all that stuff, as well as the new patch. This video will be focusing on the patch and stuff like that. We'll be going over the most important part of the patch notes, and some interesting things that were mentioned outside of the patch notes, which I'll actually mention up front here. Florian, otherwise known as Drunksy, the lead game designer on Battlefield 2042, has this to say. Tomorrow's update should introduce improvements with input responsiveness globally, as well as performance boost frame rate, more specifically for high-end PCs. Update 3.0 should help a bit with mouse input too, although we're still investigating more mouse/controller aiming input latency and consistency improvements. We will share more information on this in the near future. As we all know, I'm pretty much the #1 person that complains about the mouse input, and all I have to say is I actually hope what he's saying affects the game, because the mouse input still feels absolutely terrible. So hopefully these changes do actually do something. Now we're going to get into the patch notes here. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. It really does help the channel out. Would really appreciate that. And hit the subscribe button. I stream every single day at twitch.tv/enders. First link in the description. And hop in the Discord. Link in the description as well. Now on to the patch notes. First of all, Season 3, obviously all the new content is out. So what is out if you don't know? There's a new map, there's a new specialist, there's new vehicles, new weapons, new gadgets, new vault weapons, and a full new battle pass. If you want a more in-depth explanation, I will link a video going over everything that I already made. That video will be in the description, and maybe I'll put it in a card up in the corner somewhere. And another quick thing I want to get out of the way before we go in-depth into the patch notes is they reworked the ping system, and I made an in-depth video on what they did on that yesterday, actually. So I'll link that video as well. Now for the patch notes, I'm going to go section by section and try to just focus on the most important aspects of each section here. Starting out with gameplay improvements, a lot of this stuff is completely miscellaneous, and honestly, the only thing worth mentioning here is soldier movement when changing directions will now appear smoother through improved third-person animation physics. For the audio section, lock-on sounds have seen a complete design overhaul. This results in improved air-to-ground target lock-on sounds, as they claim. So I assume it sounds different for both parties, both the person locking on and the vehicle getting locked onto. Those sounds should all be different. And another very important change in the audio section, weapon audio sound has been drastically improved. So hopefully some of these weapons sound a little more beefier, a little more realistic, if you will. In the gadget section, under the options menu, they've actually changed the naming of the quick throw grenade option to better reflect its action within the game. What it actually did was it made it automatically throw a grenade. It didn't make it throw faster, so that was an option that was kind of confusing for people. And a big change, actually, C5 throwing distance has been, quote, adjusted to be more in line with its anti-vehicle intent. This is what I mean when I say these patch notes are vague, because they didn't say what they actually did to it. They didn't say if they shortened the throwing distance or lengthened the throwing distance, but I think it's safe to assume that they probably shortened it. Moving on to the progression section, they reduced the damage threshold for the vehicle destroy assist to 1. They claim this will result in more vehicle destroy assists taking place. Teamwork makes the dream work, and that is written in the patch notes by DICE. In the specialist section, and there's a bunch of subsections here. We'll go with specialist general first. We've made several improvements to the responsiveness of soldiers in Update 3.0. You will notice these improvements particularly around soldier movement, such as jumping, vaulting, sliding, entering ladders, and the deployment of parachutes. That is a very welcome change, and I hope it is drastically noticeable, but I can't help but be annoyed that they don't fix the insane movement input delay and the overall laggy feeling of the acceleration and deceleration. Hopefully that will be addressed in the future. As for the other subsections of the specialist section, it is miscellaneous bug fixes for various specialists. A bit of a strange section here. The AI soldier section is immediately kicked off with a spicy one. AI soldiers have learned the ability to drive and shoot the M5C bolt. And apparently, AI soldiers will now revive you more often than before. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, AI are becoming self-aware and sentient. We are totally screwed. Next up is the map section, but a quick reminder, if you're enjoying the video and find this informative or funny at all, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I do make regular videos regarding Battlefield updates. The map section has some of the most important changes in the entire patch notes. Seagulls have begun to migrate. You'll see less of them in some areas of the map. And, my personal favorite, adjusted birds flying low and popping in and out of view. These changes are game-saving. Battlefield 2042 is the #1 selling Steam game as of this update. Now for some actual game-changing changes here in the vehicles section. They have drastically changed vehicle categorization, and basically they just overhauled the entire thing. The vehicle categories now go as follows. In the light transport category, you have the LATV-4 Recon and the Hovercraft. Armored transport is now the MAV and the M5C Bolt. Heavy armor are the main battle tanks, the M1A5 T28 and the Railgun tank. Light armor is the Wildcat AA and the Ram. Air transport is the Condor and the Super Hind. Attack helicopters are all the attack helicopters, the Apache, the Super Hokum, the Hannibal, the Huron. And interestingly, they put the Nightbird within the attack helicopter category as well. And there's a fighter plane category for the last one. Obviously, this includes the F-35 and the Su-57 jets. Adding on to these categories, they state that with the reworked allocation of vehicles and their availability, you can expect maps and modes to play a part in the amount and what vehicles are available to you. For example, with Conquest 128 players on Spearhead, this will consist of 4 light transports, 1 armored transport, 1 light armor, 2 heavy armors, 1 air transport, 1 attack helicopter, and 1 jet per team alongside in-world civilian transport vehicles. So this is very important because the previously completely uncontested attack helicopters will now be contested by jets, which is how previous Battlefield games were actually set up to work. Moving on to the weapons section, this section has a ton of very important changes, and we'll just start with this one. HE grenades and incendiary grenades now always explode after the arm timer has elapsed, regardless of a player having been hit before or not. This next change is absolutely massive. Improved a situation where the weapon would stop shooting in automatic fire under bad network conditions. This is the situation where your weapon would stutter or basically stop working while you're trying to kill someone in a gunfight. I'm sure it's killed every single one of you guys watching this video hundreds of times. It's definitely noticeable, and hopefully that is completely resolved. Here's a very interesting change. Improved aim assist functionality when fighting vertical recoil. So that's very strange. Controller players, let me know in the comment section, do you notice this change at all? A massive change to shotguns here. Shotgun pellet count lowered and damage adjusted to compensate. So it sounds like they just lowered the pellet count and increased the amount of damage each individual pellet does. We will just have to see if this change is a net positive or negative. They fixed an issue with suppressors not actually silencing the weapon under some conditions, and in an extremely interesting and controversial change, they have completely removed the SWS-10's bolt-action sniper rifle's ability to one-shot you in the body at any distance. Previously, if you were close, I think within 20 meters, and you shot someone in the chest with this gun, it would be a one-shot. But as of right now, that is completely gone, and this is their reasoning. We have noticed a rising trend of using bolt actions in enclosed space and getting advantage of this feature, meant to be used defensively in an offensive manner. Yes, I read that verbatim. I don't know what that reasoning is. I don't know why they would have a problem with people using a bolt action in close quarters, especially when you're fighting against something like the 12M or the K30. But if you enjoyed doing that sort of quote-unquote aggressive recon playstyle, this heavily hinders that. And if that wasn't enough, they also made all bolt-action sniper rifles hipfire worse. Moving on to more weapon changes, they have finally done something to the terrible AKS-74U. They have increased its damage drop-off distance, making it better at medium-range combat. I wish they would actually give specifics, but I guess I will have to test that myself. Furthermore, they have lowered the Avance's damage drop-off distance. There will no longer be a 4-shot kill range for the Avance's at all. So the Avance's is now a 5-bullet to kill, and I assume it drops off from there. The NTW50 has seen some changes to its effectiveness with the anti-material ammo. They've essentially increased its damage against light vehicles substantially, especially with the high-power anti-material ammo. So if you are a Jeep 30mm camping scumbag, I hope you get one-shotted by the NTW50. You are terrible at the game. Lastly, another change to the NTW50, they have reduced its one-shot body shot range from 150 meters, which was a little ridiculous, to a more reasonable, and I think the previous one-shot distance of 100 meters. The M60 has unfortunately been nerfed. The damage has been lowered from 50 to 75 meters, from 28 to 22. So the M60 is now a 4 bullet to kill out to 50 meters, and then it drops to a 5 bullet to kill past 50 meters. The M1911 has seen its damage drop-off increased. The Rex has seen its damage drop-off increased, actually doubled to 40 meters. The AC42 has seen its burst per minute increased to 170. The PP29's damage drop-off distance was increased under 30 meters. And the Scar has finally been nerfed. The Scar has seen the same change the M60 has received. Past 50 meters, it will be a 5 bullet to kill. Previously, it was a 4 bullet to kill out to a ridiculous 75 meters, or it could even be wrong. It might even be 100 meters. And last but certainly not least, with the weapon category here, semi-auto fire is back on the AK-24, and they fixed an issue on some vault weapons not getting the correct headshot multipliers when some of the attachments were equipped. Yes, that is correct. If you equipped certain attachments, you were potentially nerfing yourself if you're using a vault weapon. Moving on to the final section of these patch notes, quick reminder again, if you enjoyed the video, if you found this informative, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Battlefield Portal weapons. They have improved the underbarrel grenade launcher zeroing precision, adjusted shake on hollow and PKA optics, and the M416 and AEK will have improved gun sway. For the AN94, M16A3, G3A3, ACWR, M60, and Scar H in Portal, all of these weapons have seen some sort of recoil change, both horizontal and vertical. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you watched to this point, you're an absolute legend god, and you should comment forehead forever because my forehead is gigantic. Everyone knows this. I will see you guys in the next one. Be sure to turn notifications on so you do not miss an upload.